When I say the words best comic book TV show, what pops into your head? This? Or this?
My name is Ben.
God help you if it was this.
I am Supergirl.
Maybe you thought of something excellent, like this. You know, whatever the case is, you probably didn't think of... Side note, if you did, good on you, bro! When it comes to neglected masterpieces, Gotham is the king. It's part of the reason why it's been cancelled and is ending with the 5th season, but let's shelve that discussion for now, because if I were to keep talking about Fox's mistakes, yeah, we'd be here for like 10 hours. The entire world seems fixated on comic books right now, but not the actual comic books, the entertainment aspect coming out of that industry, and while the movies take up a huge chunk of that, it's the TV series that entertain audiences weekly throughout the year. Marvel, as usual, seems to have this formula down pat with their brilliant Netflix shows such as Daredevil, which I still think is absolutely brilliant, but as the conversation always goes, we have to ask that one vital question. Hey, what's DC up to? Well, I run the risk of going overboard on a supreme rant to end all rants if I spend too long on this, so let's just get it out of the way. The CW shows suck. They suck. Period. Sure, they had good moments, not gonna deny that, but Arrow is a flavorless piece of cheap chewing gum, Flash is a soap opera, Legends is headed that way, and Supergirl... Supergirl. Who the hell watches this crap? Anyway, there is one show, not connected by an overcomplicated, crossover-driven, spin-off-seeking superhero verse. One show, singled out, yet better than everything I've mentioned before. If you haven't guessed it by now, yeah, it's Gotham. This show constantly blows my mind by how comic book it is. Even if you want to ignore the great mature drama it brings, the fantastic acting, the stunning visual effects, you can't deny that this show is a comic book brought to life. So let's break it up into 3 defining aspects: the world, the characters, and the style. Okay, starting with the world. In the comics, we've seen Gotham to be a dingy, crime-ridden, infested city with muggings happening on every corner, drugs running rampant, and organized crime literally running the streets. And that's exactly how the show portrays it. This world is dirty, the city is bleak and grey, there are homeless people everywhere, muggings are constantly happening, and well, it's a crap hole, which it should be. In order for any Batman-related medium to work, Gotham City has to work. So instead of cutting to random stock footage between the scenes, the filmmakers have taken the time to build out this world. They populate the streets, dirty up the buildings, run down the areas, and really sell the fact that you're in Gotham City and not, I don't know, New York made to look like Gotham City. The cars are vintage, yet some are not. The TVs are old and sepia tinted. The computers are big bulky blocks, yet the guns they use are modern. None of this adds up until you realize that it's not supposed to. This world is not analog, but it's not modern either. By mixing eras, they have successfully captured the style of the 70s, the feel of the 80s, but also the advanced era of our current time, effectively rendering the show and the world timeless. The environment of Gotham actively portrays its characters. Its crime-ridden, conniving, backstabbing, and stylish tone perfectly mirrors the personality of those characters. Speaking of those dastardly devils, let's move on to characters. The show is carried by probably one of the best characters on TV right now, Jim Gordon, portrayed brilliantly by Ben McKenzie, who, can I just say, replied to my tweet. We're practically best friends. He embodies the soul of an unbreakable cop whose personality clashes with that of the entire world actually. Gotham has given up. The police force is bribed to the brim, the villains and criminals reign supreme, yet Gordon remains steadfast in his mission to keep fighting. Now that's not to say that he's perfect. No truly great character is, and moral choices need to be made, ones that shape his character and define what a great hero and leader is. Look, it's hard to talk about character arcs when you're dealing with, at this point, 4 seasons and soon to be 5 of material, but the ups and downs that this guy goes through changes who he is. His mission remains the same, although he's willing to understand the place that he is in and adapt to succeed. And damn, if he isn't the biggest badass on TV, then I don't know who the hell is.
Penguin will be coming. It's time we showed Gotham who we are. Suit up!
There's this recurring argument about Gotham that I keep hearing all over the place, from people who haven't watched the show actually. Why would I watch a show about Batman without Batman? Well, the show has the best incarnations of the villains and characters. It explores the mythology in a deep, beloved but fresh way. But yes, you're right. There's no Batman. And to you, I say, Jim Gordon is Gotham's Batman. Now bear with me here. Sure, he doesn't go around in a black suit with horns, he doesn't have a Batmobile or a Batcave, and he certainly doesn't have any of the gadgets, but is that really what makes Batman Batman? Isn't it his drive for justice, his unwavering code, his detective skills? These are all characteristics that Jim Gordon embodies in Gotham. The one man fighting for the truth, the guy who everyone turns to for leadership, the smartest guy in the room, the guy who knows what's going on even when everyone else is fooled. Jim Gordon, in a way, is Batman. Let's talk about Jerome. Oh, Jerome. Again, I keep saying this, but damn, one of the best portrayals of the Joker I've ever seen. And yes, I know he technically isn't the Joker, but who do you think you're fooling? Cameron Monaghan's breathtaking performance places him right up there with Heath Ledger, blowing everyone else out of the water. And Jeremiah, my god, he's arguably even better. Calculating, badass, scary, all at the same time. It's an extremely layered performance, and you know, is it just me, but whenever he laughed, I got like tingles. Before we move on, can we just talk about this scene real quick?
Well, there's always plan number 2.
Get down!
Yep, as long as you saw that, you know. You know. Let's talk about Ra's al Ghul. Enough said. The showrunners understand that comics are wacky. They're crazy. Stuff goes on in comic books that doesn't exist anywhere else. Characters will die, come back to life, and die all over again. Villains will break out of Arkham every few episodes and go on a 3-episode havoc spree, bringing the city to its knees exactly like the comics. The show rotates characters and initiates multi-character team-ups all the time that perfectly mirror the Batman universe. This show was able to successfully pull off a serious characterization of Dr. Pig. Dr. Freaking Pig!
Detective James Gordon, I hope you don't mind if I say I'm tickled pink to meet you. I would shake your hand, if it were possible.
Not to mention the absolute best incarnation of Penguin we've ever seen. Just to show you how crazy he is, this guy helped Butch throughout the entire 4th season find a cure to his disease, which coincidentally turned him into Solomon Grundy, but forget that for now. The main idea here is that he helped him for the whole season, going through multiple loopholes, problems and issues to get to the point of him finally being cured and united with his true love. Then he straight up killed him.
Do you think I forgot that you murdered my mother?
This is the kind of writing that Gotham uses. No worries, no bars, no restrictions. They do whatever the hell they want. In other, more blatant words, they have balls. Big, brass, bold. There are too many characters to talk about. If I don't stop myself, I could sit here discussing how deep they all go, but this wouldn't be the 10-minute video essay that you're watching right now. It would be a 5-hour thesis. Okay, let's move on to style. Oh, actually, before we do that, did I mention Ra's al Ghul? The way they film their scenes, write their dialogue, and progress their story is much akin to that of a classic noir detective novel, which is how Batman as a whole started out in comic books. At least, that's how it was in Gotham Season 1. But let's be honest, Season 1 didn't really work, and as they moved forward, they realized what they were and adapted. The storylines moved away from gritty realism and dipped into gritty unrealism. They realized that comics are crazy, and so they kind of mimicked that.
Time to have some fun.
You see, what Gotham does so well that other shows don't do is that it realizes that all we want to do is have fun. So instead of wasting our time with stupid soap opera storylines, they do exactly what we want. They blow things up, they bring back beloved characters, they introduce new beloved characters and make us legitimately care for them individually. And when we do, they unite a whole bunch together and call them the Horribles.
Hear ye, hear ye. I'd
like to officially welcome you all to our first ever mandatory brunch meeting.
Name another show that can do something as absurd as that.
Use the tongs, Carl!
You can't. Whenever I bring this up on Twitter, my buddy Chris from the Watch Chef channel always backs me up. Apparently, we're like the only two guys watching this masterpiece of a show, so I thought it would be fun for him to do a quick cameo and entertain us with a couple of his thoughts. So, take it away, Chris.
I have to say, I think at times we may be the only two fans of Gotham around. My name is Chris George, and I'm from the YouTube channel Watch Chef, where I combine comedy and visual effects with food. You could say I'm adding a little movie magic to the recipe, so guys, go check that out. Now, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't always a fan of Gotham. Sure, when I learned they were making a series based on the origin of Batman, I was intrigued. The very notion sounded like it had the potential to become a classic series. Yet when Gotham finally hit the small screen, I was just confused. The city itself seemed lost with its mix of time periods. I really wasn't sure if this was set in present day, the 90s, or the 30s. The artistic choice for the set design and costumes almost seemed out of place for modern viewing audiences, especially for those that were used to watching superhero movies set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And, well, Bruce Wayne was just a child. This wasn't the story I was expecting or the series I actually thought that I wanted. After the first few episodes, I was almost ready to give it up. But characters like Jim Gordon, the Penguin, Edward Nygma, they kind of kept my interest. And as the episodes passed and seasons continued, my enthusiasm for the series and the appreciation of the artistic design grew. I soon began to realise that Gotham dared to define itself as an entirely new beast in the modern superhero genre. The city design wasn't lost, it was classical, establishing itself as being undefinable. You never quite know what year it is. I felt that it combined elements from Tim Burton's Batman and even Batman the Animated Series. This city was truly the perfect playground for Bruce Wayne's development into the Dark Knight detective. But the uniqueness didn't just stop with the city. Characters like the Penguin, the Riddler, and the Mad Hatter perfectly established Batman's rogue gallery. They are at times over the top.
You gave me no choice!
Especially the way they deliver lines, sounding almost poetic, if not a little absurd.
I know you, Ed. I may be driven by my emotions, but you are driven by something much more predictable.
But Gotham didn't seem to care that it wasn't grounded or realistic. And if you think about it, it shouldn't. The world of Batman,
I'm Batman,
and especially the villains, needs to be larger than life, rock star-like, and flamboyant. Actually, that is a word, by definition, that describes most of the villains of Gotham. Probably the best character has to be Jerome Valeska. And later Jeremiah, both played by the same actor, Cameron Monaghan. This character can best be described as an early version of the Joker, although they never actually use that name. Performance-wise, it's truly incredible. This actor, without doubt, has given the best interpretation of the Clown Prince of Crime. So good, in fact, that it's actually pretty hard to go back and watch the Suicide Squad's version. I just can't watch that anymore. Sure, much like Bruce Wayne, all of these characters have not yet fully developed into their comic book version, but with each season they grow a little more twisted, and it's easy to see the dark and somewhat disturbed road each character must take to become a worthy adversary for Bruce, or Batman as he'll later be known. Bruce's own story is also represented in a similar way as he travels down that dark road, almost in parallel to the villains. Batman is not just defined by a single point in Bruce's life, but rather a series of events which, as the viewer, you can see help develop his alternate persona. This is the story of boy to man to bat, and the journey is what forges this iconic superhero. Gotham is a unique interpretation of Batman's origins, and the show sets itself apart from other series like The Arrow and The Flash. And it's going to end just after 5 seasons, which is kind of sad because I could easily have seen this go for at least 10. There are plenty of stories to tell. As we follow the story of Bruce Wayne, all one can ask, much like Jack Nicholson's Joker once did,
and where is the Batman?
With this series ending, we may never get an answer to that question.
And there you have it. Gotham is so underrated that it's a crime. The show mixes truly great writing with expert filmmaking, including beautiful rustic and noir cinematography, impeccable sound design, and badass, supremely well-acted moments in order to do what no other TV show has done before: bring a comic book to life. Well guys, guys, those are my thoughts on Gotham. This is the best I can do. All of my passion has built up and culminated, and I've poured all of it into this video essay. The next step would literally be me coming to each of your houses and making you watch every single episode of Gotham. That's how amazing it is. I can't stress it enough. If you haven't watched it, definitely check out Gotham. Do yourself a favor. If you have and are interested in telling me your thoughts about what I said and some of your own opinions about the show, leave it down below in the comments. I'm always happy to talk about movies, TV shows, and anything with you guys. My buddy Chris from the Watch Chef channel is a stand-up guy, and thank you so much to him for including his thoughts and gracing us with his presence in this video. If you're interested in checking out his channel, he really makes some amazing content. Some really cool effects that he has in his videos. He does food reviews and all sorts of cool stuff. Definitely check out his channel on the end screen of this video, as well as our previous video essay, which is all about why Mission Impossible Fallout is actually the best action movie ever made. So if you're interested in that, check it out in the end screen of this video. And yeah, guys, what more is there to say? Not much actually. So hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.